Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny Florida, it's Treasure Talk.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Welcome, folks.
Welcome. It's going to be a rockin' sockin' night tonight, Bill.
It's going to be an awesome one. And Jeff, we might have to change that opener because you're saying welcome from sunny Florida. And you're in
but you're in sunny Florida, so
yeah. So we can still use it then. Anyway, folks, today's going to be an awesome show. We got excellent guests lined up and going to do something different tonight. I'm sure that you all are going to enjoy it. So I guess I should get started then, right, Jeff?
Yes, indeedy.
Okay, with the housekeeping. As always, today's show is brought to you by your friends here at Myers Metal Detectors, where we sell fun and adventure. And of course, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed here by the Treasure Talk guest and member belong to the guest and member, not necessarily to Phil Myers, Jocelyn Myers, Myers Metal Detectors, or Jeff Monin.
Yes, indeed.
And the purpose of Treasure Talk is to promote the hobby of metal detecting and treasure hunting in all forms and to educate our members in a fun, informative manner.
Indeed. And you got some Mind Lab news.
Oh, yes. I wanted to remind folks that they probably got an email from Mind Lab. I wasn't too happy about that, but because they didn't put my name on the email, or they didn't put at your participating local dealer, because they have their own store now, but they're having 25% off of all coils and accessories except for pinpointers and gold pan kits. But we sell that, and we have them in stock, and we can sell it at the 25% off too. As a matter of fact, we'll do it a little bit better. If you buy one of those coils, they won't let you have 25% off the pinpointer. But if you buy the coil from me and one of the pinpointers, we'll do the 25% off the pinpointer too.
It's always better to buy from a reputable dealer.
Yes.
And Myers Metal Detectors is the one. If Phil doesn't have it in stock, you don't need it.
Yes. So that was my gripe, and Jeff. The only thing I wanted to tell folks, don't buy on Amazon, buy from your local dealer. If you're not going to buy from me, buy from your local dealer for sure.
That is right. That is correctamundo. So we got a really tight schedule tonight on this is the debut of the Treasure Talk Digging Report. We've got guests from various regions around the country to tell you what's going on. So we're going to get right into it. If you do have a question, we'll try to get it up and get it answered. And because we got to move on, we got a big schedule tonight. So got a lot of regions to hear from. So right now we're going to go right to the East Coast, Delmarva,
Delmarva Peninsula.
Delmarva Peninsula, the East Coast, up near Baltimore in that area, with our regional representative, Mark Paddock. So let's bring him on for his report. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Jeff. How you guys doing?
We're good.
What
do you got for us?
We got a tight line here. Just so our listeners and viewers are watching, I'm covering the Delmarva region that is Virginia Beach through the eastern shore of Virginia, Maryland, lower Delaware, and a little bit of South Jersey shore. I didn't make my contacts up there that I wanted to for the show, but I can kind of feel all of that out. Let's start with Virginia Beach. I reached out to Doc Beeve. For many of you guys on the forums know him as John Beaver, Doc Beeve. And he said it's been pretty bleak in the, quote, land of nada. And that comes from Gravedigger Max many years ago, the land of not a bunch of shit down there. But anyways, they have beach replenishment going on right now between US Route 13 at the Bay Bridge Tunnel going south and southeast around to Rudy's Inlet. So from my experiences here in the Northern Territory, Ocean City, where I'm from, beach replenishment really is bad.
Yes.
You're not going to get much other than fresh drops between June and September. So I reached out to Steve Andrews, the gig master, which has his own show. And I talked to Steve and he said, yep, the replenishment's going on. It's not looking good. So for our folks that travel to the East Coast, I know Ocean City, we have 8 million people a year. Virginia Beach is definitely in the millions. My report as of this point in March is it's not going to be looking good this summer. But the technology is out there, the equipment's out there, and you never know till you get off the couch and go out and try to hunt. So let's move a little bit further north past the eastern shore of Virginia, which is part of Delmarva, and let's go to the Northern Territory, which we call Ocean City. Right now, we haven't had beach replenishment in 4 years. I anticipate the Army Corps of Engineers and their subcontractors may be moving north, but right now our beaches are good. We've had some storms earlier in the late in the winter that took a lot of sand off, and the targets are out there, but there's so many things you have to consider. The moon tide, we're going to have our next full moon on March the 14th. All along the mid-Atlantic region will be on March the 14th. And right now our water temperatures are running 39 to 41. So if you my background picture has me in my dry suit, and I've got wetsuits and all that stuff, but it has been horrifically cold here in the mid-Atlantic region for about the last month. My boat was frozen in and all that kind of stuff. So coming to Ocean City, moving north into lower Delaware, which is Sussex County, up to Indian River Inlet. That's very similar to Ocean City. There's no beach replenishment there, plenty of opportunities. But I want to warn our viewers, once you get to the Indian River Inlet on the north side, which is an area commonly called Coin Beach, one of my buddies, Captain Tom Stevenson, they call him CTS on the forums. We talked last night about Coin Beach, and the state of Delaware, DENREC, they have pumped that northern beach on Coin Beach, northern Indian River in Delaware. They have completely pumped that entire beach. Everything is covered there. I would caution anyone about wasting time going there right now because of what has happened in the last couple of months. Going further north, go to South Bethany, up to Rehoboth Beach, Henlopen Park, the lower part of Lewis, Delaware. That hasn't been touched in a couple of years, so that's kind of looking good. So from my reports here, I'm going to say if you're coming to the Eastern Shore, Delmarva, focus on the Eastern Shore of Virginia, and much of that is federal property with Chincoteague and the national park, which you cannot legally hunt there, and so forth. Going all the way north up to Rehoboth is wide open. My final note here with my tip is check your webcams. We have technology today to have webcams all up and down the eastern seaboard. There's probably 20 of them. For example, in Ocean City, you go to Rehoboth, CTS, Tom, he follows those cams up there. I generally don't go quite that far north, but the cams are a great way to at least see, number one, the wind direction, potentially. Number two, the wave frequency, which changes based on the storms working their way up the coast. Number three, the wave heights. For those of you guys that are on here watching, you remember Jim Brower from Myrtle Beach, Foiled Again Jim, wrote the classic book, Gold Beneath the Waves. That was my first book when I started doing the beach hunting 14 years ago. But erosion, the storms and erosion are the key that you need to look for. And then the last thing, as we move forward, make the contacts when you're out on the beach. Don't just walk past other people and so forth. Make the contacts. I get calls all summer long, both people who have lost jewelry and rings, and I'm a big guy on honor roll, i.e. people contacting me and me going out and trying to find it and return it to them. But I also have a collective group of friends up and down the eastern seaboard that will call and ask me about the conditions here on Delmarva. So I wish everybody the best of luck this summer. You guys have the equipment. I'm a Fisher CZ21 guy because I'm in the water most of the time. And when the beach sucks, I move to the bay and I go into the more what I call the minor league waters of the bay, where it's a little less rough and I'm less likely to get my butt handed to me in the waves. So Jeff, Phil, that's my report. You guys have any questions?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it, Mark, and that was a real good report, and everybody needs to take notice and put it up here, store it in your file cabinet. Wouldn't you say, Phil?
Absolutely.
That's really good information.
Yes.
Hey, thank you guys for bringing me on the show tonight to talk about Delmarva.
Okay.
And we will see you, Mark. We'll see you April, first Monday in April. That'll be the next digging report. Thanks for your report. You did a great job.
Awesome. Yeah.
See you later. Now, let's bring on for the Midwest area, Ohio, Indiana, that area, as well as in a little bit of the East inland. Obviously, they do some beach hunting on the Great Lakes, but it's mostly going to be a dirt digging report or whatever's going on. Here is Jim Bacorn with the Trumbull Treasure Hunters.
Hi, guys.
Welcome, Jim.
Jim, how are you?
Doing fine, thanks. I wish I had a better report than what Mark gave. I mean, around here, we're running into we like to call it our first spring. We had one day at like 55 degrees, and now we're back to 30. Checking around, people said, well, if you want to get out the ice gear and start chipping through the ice, you can dig or take a blowtorch out and warm the ground up. West Virginia, if you're going out in the woods, a lot of the guys are digging Civil War artifacts in the woods. The leaves are keeping everything protected in nice thermal blanket, so it's not freezing down as much. So, matter of fact, I'm going to see if that's true. I'm taking a trip next week to see if I can find if that ground's thawed out enough to dig. Around here, Trumbull-Mahoning County, we're lucky if we're getting about 2-3 inches down, and it's nothing but mud. Beneath that, again, is nothing but ice. Guys aren't ready to go out and tackle the mud for what they're going to find. So everyone I'm talking to, we're doing all of our, still doing all of our book work. We're doing all of our, background stuff, trying to find those new places to hunt this year.
And you got some of your folks are probably doing maintenance on their equipment as well.
Mm-hmm. Maintenance on the equipment. Always got to get those things ready to go.
And you're buying new equipment too.
Buying new equipment. I've got some guy that just keeps putting a hammer on me and makes me look bad, says I need to buy my wife new equipment.
New scoop. And
and then she finds out on Treasure Talk last week she's getting a new scoop.
We let it out of the bag. But I did want to comment because I saw a comment come through there from Tim B. He also got one of those Treasure Talk titanium scoops too. And
I tell you,
he just loves it.
Tom Becker and I were talking about them, and I remember pulling off the side of the road with Tom in the truck when I called you, Phil, and I ordered mine. And I love it. Absolutely love it. And I even showed Kathy with that big throat on that scoop how fast you can get a sand full of, but where you can get a scoop full fast.
Yes.
Where some people are going 4 or 5 times trying to find one target. You take that monster and your one scoop, you usually have it.
Yeah. So if you're having a slow time, you just got to work on your gear and get new gear for sure.
Yeah. Getting them all shined up, getting them charged up, checking everything, making sure everything's good to go. Kathy's Manicore, I got to get a hold of it. Rick T gave me a really good idea of sticking that penny between her quill and the cover before we get started in the spring.
Yeah, so a lot of people, they're doing their research and going out and trying to get permissions now during this lack time when they can't dig. Is that pretty much what's going on up in that area?
It is. Also, what we like to do is get into the older maps. Even there's software out there you can use on Android. Venza Maps is one of them, where you can download and actually build a GPS-enabled map out of an old picture, like from a late 1800s atlas. And so you could walk right out into a field, know that there was a homestead on it, pull up your map, and you can walk right on top of it and start searching. And within minutes, you're finding your debris field.
Nice.
So,
very good. Now you are the president. You and Kathy are the president of the Trumbull Treasure Hunters. That is the metal detecting club. What during the winter time for those in the climbs that they can't necessarily get out and hunt unless they're going to go in the woods. And I don't know what happened there, but let's get this back to where it should be.
Wasn't me.
There. Okay, the club, they're getting together and making plans for hunts and discussing different things, correct?
Right. It looks like we may be picking up 4, maybe 5 new members tomorrow night. I'm hopeful from the texts and the emails I've been getting. One of our other local clubs are kind of backing off a little bit on what they're doing, and I think some people may be looking for a different direction. So what we like to do is go over the equipment, what we're using, why we use it. People come in and say, well, I've got this detector from 30 years ago. Okay, well, you can use that. And here's what we use. What kind of money situation you look at, what kind of machine you want to get into. We make our recommendations. We'll even take them out in the field, let them swing our own machines.
So, yeah, a good tip you might offer, and Phil will echo this, is during the winter time when, there's a lot of new people coming on, they got detectors and stuff for Christmas, and they don't know anything about it. So that's where we think that the Metal Detecting Club plays a paramount role in searching out, putting it out there for those that want to come in and learn, get new members, get them trained up and show them some stuff. So when the weather does break, they go out there and they're not going out walking around going, I don't know, and digging craters and, going on property that they don't have permission for and that kind of stuff. So I think you had mentioned that that's the kind of stuff you guys were doing.
Right. Some people will come in and go, hey, what's that shovel thing you got there? What's that digger? Or, what's this for? And did you call that a pinpointer? What's that? Some people just grab the headphones and a detector and maybe a digger, and they're ready to go. And they realize there's a little bit more homework to it than that and a little bit more equipment if you want to be successful at it, right out of the gate.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you got it pretty much covered there. And hopefully as the weather continues to warm up, and I hope it warms up for you in a hurry. I know Phil does not like, you can always tell when you see Phil on the show. If he's in shirt sleeves, it's fairly warm. If he's got his flannel shirt on, he's freezing. That means it's below 70.
Yeah, it means it's cold.
So,
well, Jocelyn has a pink flannel shirt on right now.
Well, I even remember there when we had that really cold snap when it got cold down in Florida. Phil sitting there in the flannel shirt. I was beginning to think he didn't even have a furnace in that shop.
Well, we have a central air and heat, so but I try not to run the heat, because heat's air conditioning's not too bad, but heat is very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys aren't buying nearly enough equipment for him to run the heat. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
take pity. I mean, you don't want him and Jocelyn freezing. So
Yeah, we could
buy
freeze to
something.
death
Right.
in Florida.
I tell
Buy
everyone, within our group, you have to go to Myers metal detectors.
Put a question up there for you.
And
And then you have to get a Sazich.
yeah, there
Well,
you go.
I tell everyone, and I keep showing it to everyone. Well, where is it? Oh, up here. Look at that. Here's my Myers metal detector card right on the back of my phone case.
Look at that. That's cool.
That's good.
I tell people, you need someone to talk to, pull out your phone, take a picture of this. This guy you
Yep,
need to talk to.
indeed. All righty, Jim,
Yes,
thanks
I will.
much for your wonderful report. And hopefully, like I said, things will move along. So, you can reach out to more of your contacts
Yeah.
and get some good info for April. You guys should be out digging by then.
We
So,
will be.
Thanks much. Very
Thanks,
good
guys.
job. And we'll see you
Yeah,
in
thank you.
April.
Good to see you again.
And before
You
we bring
too.
the next one, Jeff, I just wanted to tell Cane Digger, yes, I still have some of those Manicores at the special price of $11.99, but get them quick because they're going fast.
Well, when they're gone, when you sell out,
Then they're
They're
going back up to $17.99. So if you're wanting one of those, you got to grab it.
how many you got in the shop?
Oh, I think I'm looking at, because Joe just refilled it. I think I'm looking at 4 there. So get it quick.
Well, they're going to go fast. They're going to go
Yes.
fast. So
I always
get
do.
her done, folks. Get her done. Also, while we just got a minute before I bring on our Melbourne Treasure Coast reporter, Melbourne North on the Treasure Coast, I am searching for regional reporters such as you're seeing tonight. I need everybody on the West Coast, Texas, any place from the middle of the country, west, all around the world. If we got somebody in England that wants to be part of the Treasure Talk Digging Report, get me an email and we'll get in contact and we'll get you set up. So now I think it's time we go let's go down to the east coast of Florida, Phil, where we've got from Melbourne north on the Treasure Coast, we got one of the legends of in the metal detecting community, one of the best treasure hunters and nicest people and most knowledgeable people you'll ever want to meet. Let's bring on our Treasure Coast North reporter, Terry Shannon. Hey, Terry.
How you doing, guys?
Hey, Terry,
Good.
your shirt looks awesome. Looks a little bleached out from the sun, though.
I tell you, I fill it up well.
Me too, for sure.
So what's going on, Terry?
I tell you that, the metal detecting down here on the Treasure Coast has been just a little bit worse than terrible. I mean, it's really been, it's really been bad. Plus, they're out there pumping all this gravel on the beach, and I say gravel, deliberately. But today, actually, I did pretty good out there today. We had some wind come out of the north, yesterday afternoon. It worked about 2:00 before it turned to the east, and I pulled out a gold chain today. So I was really happy with that.
Yeah, good.
I wouldn't call that awful. I would call that awesome.
Well, things happen once in a while, but the wind has been coming in from the east, and we're just terribly sanded in. And on
We'll leave it there, Joss.
on the Treasure Coast here, last year they did everything basically from the inlet all the way up north, and this year they started at Paradise Beach, and they're going north, and they're going all the way up to the Cape, and I think actually beyond the Cape. And right now they're in the process of doing Cocoa Beach, and I don't know whether, I know they're right around the pier and that stuff. And and I was up there a couple days ago, and they were at just north of Hightower, and they had two great big huge piles out there. But one of the things that there's nothing about that I like, but the sand that they're putting on up north now is much better quality than they have been putting on. It's a lighter sand, and they're putting it on the beach. They're not going down as far as the water, so. But we're getting so much stuff coming in from offshore. I found an area just north, where the coquina was showing, and Fred and I went up there a couple of days later, and the coquina was already covered up. So
It happens real quick, doesn't it?
yeah, one of the things too I want to comment on this renourishment stuff. They're doing that with our tax dollar, and now they're starting to charge everybody to park on the beach, so we're getting double charged to be able to go out there and hunt that land. But when you get up by Melbourne, and actually just south of it, Ponce de Leon, and then there's another beach called Steele. These are free parking. They belong to the county. And you go north of that, right by where I live, you have Spencer Holland North and you have Spencer Holland South. That's also free parking. Now you go just up to where the A1A makes that 90-degree turn, and that's Melbourne Beach, and I think they charge about $2.50 or $2.75 an hour to park there. You go up to Indian Atlantic, you have to pay for parking, and then you go north of Indian Atlantic, and there's Paradise Beach. That's where I was at today, and that's free parking. They were going to charge a couple of years ago, and people raised so much trouble or cane over it that they decided not to. But then you go north of Paradise, and from there on up, basically, well, you have Canova Beach and that, but I guess they're going to start charging on all those beaches now too. And it's just a crime what they're doing on that sort of stuff. I was up at Hightower last year, and there's a lady trying. They just don't send you a ticket. They actually lock the tire. And so that's why I want to caution everybody: if you're a tourist and come down to the Treasure Coast, make sure you look around. They have signs up, but when they put that deal on the car on your tire, you don't move until you pay your fine. And I mean, this lady was trying to get one of these. She'd taken it off, paid the fine, and she was trying to put it in a container. If you don't put it in there properly, they fine you for that too. And I went over to help her do this thing, and she was crying, of course. And what she had done is was crying when she come into the access, because she was coming there to spread her son's ashes out.
Oh,
and they slapped one of these things on. And I believe what they do is I think they contract, this out as far as the enforcement, so nobody gets a break. I mean, they make their money by how many they ticketed, and it's just ridiculous. So be very careful when you're coming up, as far as parking and that stuff. It's a big issue.
There was a question there. Do you offer? Do they have a season pass or?
Yes, they do. But the problem is that you have to go to Melbourne, and I don't know what it is. I think it's around $50 or something like that. That's one beach.
Oh,
Then
just one beach.
You go up to Indian Atlantic,
okay.
be 30, but I think that's going up, and that's one beach. Then you go up to Indian Harbor, or I think they got 2 or 3 beaches you can buy, for. And then if you get up to Cocoa Beach, you got to buy a pass for that one too. So if you're going to hit all these places on the Treasure Coast, you're going to have to, if you want
It's $1.
parking, it's going to cost you some serious money.
Yeah. If somebody was wanting to come down, and many of our viewers may be wanting to come down now, they're getting spring breaks coming up. They all want to hunt the Treasure Coast. Are there any beaches that are closed that they couldn't come to hunt, and the popular beaches where the wrecks are and stuff like that?
Yeah, yes, they are. In fact, but not up where I'm at. Everything I've got is open. Fred will deal with that Turtle Trail down south and that, so he'll talk about that. One of the things I do recommend, if they're coming from any ways, and haven't been to the Treasure Coast, kind of put it in your itinerary or something to stop at the McClarty Museum and the Fisher Museum. These are good people. They're really good people. And the McClarty Museum is the one that actually brought my wife and I down here. Many, many years ago, we went on a vacation, and when we drove, coming up A1A, we stopped at the McClarty Museum, and that was it. I mean, I was still working at that time, but my goal was to get back here and detect the Treasure Coast. And I didn't get to do that till 2005. My wife went over to Japan to visit our son, and when she came back, I asked her if she wouldn't wouldn't mind flying over Orlando because I want to detect the Treasure Coast. And when she come back, I informed her that we're not leaving, and we've been here ever since. It's just, you know.
Well, that's our gain. I have to tell you that.
You're being very kind.
And I want to tell you what, some of these folks have met your wife, and a more wonderful person does not reside on the face of the earth. Let me tell you. So
Yeah, we've been married 65 years. She puts up with a heck of a lot with me.
yeah.
But
So what's the prognosis for the next few days, next week? Do you think?
Well, I don't have the report. We were getting, the high tides coming way in, but Fred will go into that stuff too. We kind of talked to. I didn't cover that, but the tides are still going out for you. Get more real estate, but really, I think that there's always a spot along the Treasure Coast where there's a cut, or there's some places open that that you can you can find good stuff. Like today when I went up there, I found a real good bowl. A bowl is where you have the riptides that are coming in,
Mhm.
and water goes out and it washes stuff out. And when it washes that area out, you're getting down to sand that hasn't been detected for a long, long time. And that's what we learned in today. And it was, it was pretty good detecting. Very good.
Yeah, that's good. Well, that's the kind of stuff that Phil advises people in the shop to look for on the beaches, and we've talked about it before, and you give out great information. So I think this is going to be a valuable thing for people that want to come down and hunt the Treasure Coast as it goes on with you and from Melbourne North, and then Fred Banky from Melbourne South. Yeah. We're going to have it all covered. So we'll be good to go.
Okay, I can make one more comment, and then I'll shut up there. It's my understanding, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard now that a couple of the metal detecting manufacturers are now selling direct. And if that's the case, I really implore you people to go to like Phil's place or the local dealer, detective business, support them. We need those, and we're not going to have it if they can't make a living and if these companies are selling direct. So
that's right. Because you don't get to put your hands on it when they sell you. You're looking right at the company. You go into the shop, you can put your hands on it and try it and get advice. So
something breaks, you got somebody to come back to that'll help you on that.
Yeah,
folks, thank you so much. My 10 minutes went awfully fast. Good luck and God bless.
Absolutely. Thanks, Terry. Great job. Great job. We'll see you in April.
Yes.
Looking forward to the next digging report.
Yes, and I wanted to say one comment real quick with Terry's saying, the local dealer also has that inventory in stock, and that way you get like Mike Stone. I see Jocelyn must have put the comment out. He got a Manticore from me last week at $11.99, but also you won't believe the number of people I saved their vacation on when they come here and they forgot their charger, they forgot something, or they broke something. They come in the shop here and they get it, and I saved their vacation. So your local dealer is going to do that you can't get that if you're buying it on Amazon or direct from the manufacturer.
That's right, because you don't know the quality of a lot of the stuff. You go into the shop, you go into Myers Metal Detectors.
You're going to see it.
I tell you, you can put your hands on it, you can heft it, you can turn it on, hear it. That's the way to go. Now, let's bring on from Melbourne South on the Treasure Coast. Everybody knows this man, but let's bring him on so he can give his report. Here is Fred Banky.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
How are you?
I'm doing super fantastic.
Good.
I was hitting the beaches today and just checking out the beaches, and just some of the finds. A lot of people are just finding aluminum lately. So the beaches have been sanded in. They're finding a lot of aluminum, and there's a lot of Portuguese man of war out there too.
Oh, so wow, that's not good.
You got to be careful with those. One of the dumbest things I've seen on the beach lately is a guy with a styrofoam cup a Portuguese man of war washed up on the beach, and he was trying to put it back in the water with a styrofoam cup. And I wouldn't want anything to do with it.
No, that's not something that I really want.
But Down south, even down in South Florida, they've had the same kind of problems with beaches sanded in. They're just starting to get better. Some of the guys from down there have been coming up to Vero and even going over to the West Coast to see if they got any luck over there. But I just saw some nice gold rings and gold chains being found down Fort Lauderdale area, West Palm, down through Fort Lauderdale area. So that's a good sign. And spring break's coming in right now too. And we've got north of where Terry is, you've got Bike Week going on as well. So there's a lot of people getting to the beaches and stuff now. So that might help. As far as the tides, we've just gone through, like Terry was saying, we've just gone through a very extreme high tide few days, and which is great if we get rough surf because that cuts away at the sand and you get plenty of erosion. So, but that didn't happen. We didn't get the high surf. It's also a very extreme low tide for the next few days as well. And problem is tomorrow the surf picks up and we've got 4 to 6 feet of surf tomorrow. So that's not going to help with our extreme low tides.
No. Fred, if folks wanted to come down and hunt from Melbourne South, can you give them any tips on where they can get a weather report, possibly, and beach report for surf conditions and stuff?
Yeah, there's a surf there's a site called Surfline, and if you go on that site, it tells you not only just tells you the tides, but it also tells you what the surf conditions are, the wind conditions, everything you need to know. It's called Surfline, and I use that every day. What I do is I print out the tides for the whole year, and I highlight all of the extreme low tides and extreme high tides. Then if anybody asks me, they say, okay, I'm coming down in June, when would be a good time to visit? I would say, well, I'd look at the surf, the tide charts and say I'd come down, when it's extreme low or it's extreme low and high. And because in November we get the king tides, so they're really high, and that's a good time to come down too. But like I said, the conditions have been sanded in. As for beach closures, we've got Turtle Trail. I've been hunting Turtle Trail for about 20 years now and know every inch of that beach and had some wonderful finds out of there, but it is closed and they're re-nourishing the sand from Turtle Trail south for about 3.5 miles.
Oh,
and
geez.
Where are they bringing it in from?
They're trucking it all in. So they're
So
trucking
this is from the interior, right?
Yeah. Same thing up at Terry's right now. They were pumping it down from Cape Canaveral and bringing it ashore down where Terry lives, and then they're trucking it north from there. And this year everything's being trucked in from west of where we live, west of 95. Everything. So as soon as they get done with the closures, Turtle Trail, 3.5 miles south, they'll open that up, and then they're going to go another 3.5 or so miles south of the trekking station beach down there. So right now they're going from Turtle Trail to the trekking station beach, and then they're going to go from trekking station beach south through Vero right there. It's just miserable seeing what they're doing. When you go I went to the beach today, and there's actually cuts in the sand, but it's all into the new sand. So it may be where they've been trucking in sand, it may be 20 feet from the dunes, and then you've got a cut, drop down about 4 feet, and then you're going slope down into the water from there. So it's not finding much other than aluminum, but we're hoping for things to pick up, new finds and everything from all the students coming down here for spring break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something I think and you probably agree, Phil, that that you and Terry need to reiterate every month is where you cannot hunt in the water.
Okay, my area going from the Sebastian Inlet south, that is all illegal to go in the water and hunt all the way down through pretty much through Fort Lauderdale, not Fort Lauderdale, Fort Pierce down through there. South of Fort Pierce, there's a few sites. There's an English wreck down there by the power station down at Fort Pierce. Nobody's finding much stuff down there. It just hasn't been good lately, pretty much my whole area. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Yeah, we've got the full moon coming the 14th through the 16th, so it's going to be some just lightly extreme low tides in that time period. And at the end of the month, the 27th through the 3rd of April, it's going to be really super low tides, almost a foot lower than normal on these extreme tides. So the coquina's going to be showing, the rocks are going to be showing. It's a good time to get out there and get in the coquina and stuff. That's if the water's flat. If you try and get in the rocks with rough, you're going to break a leg or twist an ankle or do something.
And I want to remind folks that both Terry and Fred are going to be the guest speakers at the West State Archaeological Society at the Tuesday meeting on March 18th. So if you're in the Tampa Bay area, you can get one of Fred's books. He'll sign it for you, won't you, Fred?
Absolutely. We'd be glad to do that. We'll be bringing some books with us. And one thing I'd like to mention is we've got the TCAS, which is our local metal detecting club. We've got our annual hunt on Saturday the 8th at 9 a.m. and it's at the Kiwanis Hobart Park. So everybody's invited to that. It's a really fun event. We've got guys coming over from the West Coast to visit and go to that hunt with us. And then on April the 12th, you've got the Central Florida hunt in DeBerry over there by Orlando. That's always a good hunt. And April 26th, we've got the Treasure Hunters Cookout. If anybody can make it, that's a fun event down here at the Penwood Motor Lodge down just south of Sebastian.
Yeah, and then remind them about the Fisher Museum and McClarty Museum.
Fisher Museum.
You got about 30 seconds.
Okay, Fisher Museum, the McClarty Museum, excellent museums. I actually help out at the Fisher Museum with tours, and we've got I think a group of 60 people coming in, so it's going to be more than a handful. But it's a lot of fun meeting all the people. I actually met somebody on the last tour that knew the village I lived in England, where I was raised. So
very cool. It's you just never know, do you, Fred?
No, you never know who you're going to meet on the beach or in the museums or anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. So that's great, and those are great museums. And we got some stuff coming up later on in the year here on Treasure Talk with Fred and Terry and the museums. So make sure that you get down there. Fred, I can't thank you enough. Great report. And as the time goes on and the beaches start picking up, you'll be here to tell us all about it. We appreciate you.
That's a bunch. I'd just like to say thank you to Phil for all his support and everything with his store and stuff. So
we appreciate
thanks, Jeff and Phil.
All right, Fred, we'll talk to you in April, if not before.
Sounds good.
Later. Thanks, man. Okay, we got one region left, Phil. I'm telling you, it's going
We're
fast.
rolling through it. We're rolling through it.
Fast.
Yes.
Going fast. So now we're going over on your side of the world.
Yeah.
We're going to talk all about the west coast of Florida.
West coast of Florida.
All the way down to Naples, all the way up to the Hoochie and wherever these guys go. We're going to tag team with two of our good friends, two very, very knowledgeable people that are out there hunting all the time. We're going to talk to Big Rick Tumbleson and Big Billy Keene. Let's get them on here. There you
There
go.
you are.
There you
Well,
go.
Hey, guys. How's everybody?
We're doing great.
We're
All
doing
right.
good.
I guess I'll go ahead and get
Good looking
started. I'm
hat
going to
you
talk to you
got
like
on,
an
son.
I'm going to talk to you like an auctioneer. Got a lot to say in a few minutes.
Yes.
Okay, get after it. You and Billy just tag team it.
All right. Billy and I had the honor of taking Fred and Terry fossil hunting a couple weeks back. We had a fabulous day. We dug all kind of Ice Age fossils, some dating back millions of years. I have to say the find of the day probably belongs to Billy. He found a cave bear tooth. Every time I take this guy out, he always finds something that I have never found.
Awesome.
He's like that first detector as you take out and finds the big diamond ring that you've been looking for years.
That's
So
awesome.
anyhow, let's talk about Bobby Kulik is one of our club members with WSAS, and he reported. I talked with him, and he said that he recently purchased a Manicore and upgraded from the
Yes, he did.
upgraded from the 600. Absolutely loves the machine. He has been using it right now, just trying it out, running it through his paces, working with some of the programs, but he's working a lot of parts and things like that. And he's finding coins that in places where he's hunted before, and he's still finding new stuff. So he's really excited about that. Jerry Miller is another club member that he has found a honey hole in the Tampa area somewhere where evidently they tore down several buildings. And he's been there about 9 times. He's invited me to go. I haven't made it yet. I want to. But he personally has found over 2,000 coins in this area. A lot of them are quarters. The most outstanding thing he has found is a 1936 Walking Liberty $50. So you're finding a lot of clad. But still, if you're digging quarters, I'll dig a lot of clad if I'm finding a lot of quarters.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Yeah.
beer money.
Beats a penny.
yes, absolutely. The last gentleman I talked to is Tom Strelka. Tom Strelka was our treasure hunter of the year for WSAS, and he is largely a water hunter. And he is basically reporting the same thing that you've been hearing all night. Since the hurricanes hit back in October, November, it pushed a lot of sand inland. It pushed a lot of sand on the beach. It pushed a lot of sand. And if you're not around here, you probably didn't see it. But Gulf Drive that runs right down north-south through St. Pete, Clearwater, at places had 4 and 5 feet of sand in the middle of the road. That whole island through there was completely underwater at one point. The Don Cesar, the big pink famous hotel on St. Pete Beach, had 3.5 feet of snow in its main lobby. So, or sand in its main lobby. So it's been crazy how much of an effect it's had. Now, the negative part is not finding a whole lot yet. The usual stragglers here and there, not even really seeing fresh drops yet. However, I will say this. Billy and I were out yesterday, and the things that we found, we were actually out with a fellow named Bill Lehman, also, who is a mutual friend of ours. I got 3 earrings yesterday. They were junkers, but they were crusty. I mean, they were things that had been there in the water for a long time. So there's stuff out there. It's starting to shake free, I think. But we're still not seeing the cuts. We're still not seeing the potholes. You got to be very aware of what's under your feet as you're walking along. You want to make sure that you're walking on hard bottom or shelly bottom. There were a couple of places yesterday you get a couple of big mouthfuls of sand in your scoop, and it was nothing but sand. It just fell straight through. And if you're in an area like that, you're not going to have much luck. Water right now is in the upper 60s. We were wearing wetsuits. We see families all on the beach. There are people getting in the water. The parking lots up and down St. Pete Beach were full yesterday.
And didn't that, excuse me, Rick, Phil, wasn't that on the news? People thought there were 2 orcas in the water in that area.
I didn't say that, man. I would never say that.
More like walrus, probably.
Well, yeah, I am the walrus, you're the Eggman. So Billy's the Eggman and you're the walrus. And okay.
Yeah, every time I kept coming up on the beach, it kept trying to push me out. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
He's
splashing water on
he's dying. Yeah. So what's been going on down a little south there, Billy? You're
Well,
out
I
all
was
the
on.
time.
I made some phone calls because I pretty much will go from Clearwater all the way down to Fort Myers and all that. And I got on the phone with Bruno Rosa. He hasn't been able to detect as much because of a new job, but I did ask him about Fort Myers Beach, with all the storm damage that was down there. And evidently they're pumping some of that sand in from out there, out deeper. So he's been finding a lot of bullets and stuff like that, but nothing earth shattering. I also took the time to reach out to Sean Roush, Sarasota. That's the Detect Florida guy on YouTube. If anybody doesn't know who he is, he specializes in ring recoveries. And spoke to him. He said same thing, Billy. He said all these beaches all the way up here where I'm at, because he's south of us. And he said they're all sanded in. And I will say this, we are starting to find a few items, nothing crazy good, but it's a good sign, and one of the things I wanted to say for anybody who's just getting into this hobby and you want to get into water, you want to get into the beach, like Rick just said, pay attention to your surroundings, because when I'm out, say I'm out waist deep, chest deep, whatever it is, I'm always looking ahead to the other people just walking in and out of the water. And I'll pay attention to they're knee deep, and then all of a sudden they're, belly deep or even chest deep. And that's, those are the places you want to see. You want to find them holes like Rick was talking about, the potholes and the cuts. And that's always served me well when I did that. There was an incident at Upham Beach where me and Rick were out there. This was last summer, I believe. I wasn't it, Rick? Yes. And I found one of them holes, basically. And I called him right over. I said, dude, you got to get over here. I've already found 3 rings in 15 minutes. Get over here. How many did you find, Rick, right after that? Same amount, I think. Yeah, 3. And one really, really nice chocolate diamond one, too. So those are things that a lot of people who are new at it can really pay attention, just watching the people in and out. And if you see those little holes, go hit them as soon as you possibly can.
Billy ended up with 5 rings that day, and I got 3, and we were working the same hole, and it was about the size of an Olympic swimming pool.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys got, spring break is almost upon us, and in some areas I think it's already going on. So the beaches are going to be inundated with spring breakers, and I know Phil likes it when the spring breakers come because they come down and buy stuff. So what kind of tips can you give to the people that want to come down or maybe coming down for spring break with their kids on areas to hunt?
Well, first of all, make sure you got a place to stay.
Yeah, because a lot of the hotels were still closed. But one of the things I would say is, I have a Manicore, I have I have an Equinox. I really love the Manicore. Man, that thing is just finding deep targets. It picks up the smallest targets. But one of the things I would say too is, don't be cheap on the scoop. A good scoop can make your day a lot easier. I got mine from Phil. And I just, man, that thing is awesome. I had the same scoop for 20 plus years. I got it from a place, this is going to really date, Tanner's Metal Detectors in Lakeland. That's been gone a long time. So I finally upgraded a couple years ago, and oh my God, the difference is just amazing. And it's worth every penny because, you think, well, that might be a little expensive to start, but you find one ring and you're able to dig faster. You're able to move more. You're able to cover more ground. One ring pays for that scoop easy, and your detector sometimes. So, yeah.
Really good information. And when you're talking about that place in Lakeland, that's when Phil didn't have any gray in his beard. So, guys, yeah, guys, thanks so much for the report tonight. We look forward to seeing you again in April, the first Monday in April, for the next Treasure Talk Digging Report. You guys did a bang-up job. Thanks much, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you at the club meeting.
Say, Phil, so I think the Treasure Talk Digging Report went off pretty well tonight. We got a lot of good information.
Oh, awesome information. And, the time went super fast. I'll say that, Jeff. But I opened up the schedule So I had it on the side there, and we were just by the second, we were right there. And it looks like Big Poppy says, "Great job, Ricky and Billy."
Oh yeah, every one of our, absolutely every one of our regional reporters did a bang up job. And that's not easy to do, especially this time of the year when there's not a lot going on and trying to find out. And these people are taking some time out of their day to go and contact their friends to find out what's going on. Now, a lot of it is about the beach here in Florida, but some of it's going to be inland too, and other reporters. That's why anybody out there that thinks that they would like to be a regional reporter for the Treasure Talk Digging Report, just send me. I'm going to put the email up there in case you don't know it. You send me an email, and I'll get in contact with you, and possibly we can get something going on for a different area. And I'm talking about England, wherever. Doesn't make any difference.
Yes.
Because we've got viewers from all over the world. If you're in Australia and you want to give a digging report for Australia, get up with me. Canada, yes. The West Coast, we really need somebody in the West Coast, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, the Dakotas, Wyoming, Pacific Northwest, which brings me to an update for all y'all on Pacific Northwest dirt fishing. Tiffany had a surgery, and they opened her up, and she was full of infection. And she's had a whole cage in her back. That's what has been supporting her, and it was full of infection. A bolt fell out, and infection just poured out of it. So they had to take everything out. She is now bedridden, and they're trying to, battle all this infection. Once they get the infection under control, which that's a question, I think. Whether it's going to be under control, then they're going to go in through the front. They're going to have to move her stomach and go in from the front and rebuild her spine, a whole nother cage. So it's really, really serious.
So keep her in your prayers.
And please just pray for Tiffany and Ronnie at Pacific Northwest Dirt Fishing, because once they get back up and on strong, they're going to join us as a regional reporter on Treasure Talk Digging Report. So let's make sure we say our prayers for them. And Phil, let's go over real quick what you got on special at the shop.
Well, of course, we still have some of the Manacores left, but we also, like I said earlier, we got 25% off of Mine Lab accessories, bags, and whatever, coils, everything. So that's kind of cool for those products, is they never put the accessories on sale. So that is a nice touch that you're doing there. We got some more of the triple scores in, because I know you bought one for your son-in-law, and that's a nice kit for those. For somebody just getting into detecting, that is a super kit for sure.
Yeah, it is.
And Mine Lab has the same. There's, I guess you call it the Expedition Pack, and we've got them on special too. So if somebody wanted a great detector to get started with, multi-frequency, both of those fit that bill. We don't have a whole lot of time left, so I just wanted to thank all the people we had on here tonight. This was an awesome idea for a show, Jeff, for sure. And I look forward to us doing this all the time. I wanted to thank Mark Paddock and Fred Bank and Terry Shannon, Ricky T and Billy Keene, and and Jim Bacorn. Awesome. Yeah, awesome.
They all did great.
Detector reports for sure for different parts of the country. So that's kind of exciting.
And you never know, as we go along and we get more reporters, the first Monday of every month will be the Treasure Talk Digging Report, and it may, we may expand our time slot just once a month to see how it goes. But I think this is a valuable concept. I think people will really pick up on it, because everybody wants to know where you're finding stuff and how you're doing it.
Absolutely.
So, there again, if you're going down on the west coast of Florida or any place in Florida on spring break, and you need some treasure hunting gear or anything for fossil hunting, whatever, you go into Myers Metal Detectors, and he's got it all in stock, and to get you all fixed up. So You can call them before, 813-237-1939. You'll have it waiting for you, packed up, ready to go, and you'll be golden. Have a great spring break. So with that being said, I think we're out of here. And
Yes.
Phil, thanks so much. Tell Jocelyn I'm glad she's warm. She's probably got the heater on going on over there.
Yes, she's doing good. And thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you to all of our many members on here on Treasure Talk, and especially on our Digging Report reporters, I should say, to them. Thank you guys for all you did tonight. Appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. And remember, if you want to be a part of the Treasure Talk Digging Report, send me an email, treasuretalkshow@gmail.com, and we'll get you set up, and you can be a regional reporter once a month on Treasure Talk. So thanks, everybody. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
All right. We'll see you guys.